Which one of these clips do you think is shot on an iPhone? A or B? If you chose A, you would be wrong. One more time. Which one of these clips is shot on my iPhone 16 Pro? It's probably very easy to tell this time. If you chose clip B, that is indeed the iPhone 16 Pro. Recently, I did the unthinkable. On my recent 3-week trip to Japan, I decided to leave my Sony a7 IV at home, and instead, I challenged myself to film everything with my iPhone 16 Pro. All to answer one question. Is the iPhone 16 Pro satisfying enough for me? Or did I come back from the trip disappointed and regretting that I didn't bring my Sony camera? The answer is basically summed up by the comparison in the beginning of the video. It depended on the situation. But let's take a step back and ask, what would compel someone to leave behind their $3,000 camera kit to go off recording with a phone instead? As a little background, my first camera was the Sony a7 III and brought it with me to birthday events, weddings, vacations, hikes, camping, just everywhere. I eventually upgraded to the Sony a7 IV and ZV-E1 and continued to bring those cameras everywhere with me, including on a longer stay in Japan, where I was almost using the camera daily. The initial few years were incredible and fun. However, over time, it began to feel a bit burdensome. Also, I would sometimes get caught up in shooting rather than be in the moment with my friends and family. So I slowly began bringing my camera around with me less. Eventually, I would run into situations where I encountered some beautiful scenery and moments I wanted to capture in high quality video, but wasn't able to, and it definitely stung a bit. However, with the release of Apple Log and the iPhone 16 Pro, I decided to try out whether or not it could be as satisfying as my Sony a7 IV. Long story short, even though it can't quite match up completely, the Sony a7 IV is definitely far better still. I actually found myself quite satisfied when I traveled in Japan with just my phone for the majority of what I captured. The biggest difference is the portability and convenience, obviously. It didn't add any extra weight since I would be carrying around my phone with me anyways. And it's also low-key, making it easier to film without a lot of people staring at you. And thanks to Apple Log, your phone footage is pretty much comparable to some lower-end mirrorless cameras and lens combinations out there. Also, I created a Skillshare class explaining how to maximize the quality of your iPhone while maintaining the convenience of it. So check it out if you're interested, link down below for 30 days free to Skillshare. Anyways, after setting everything up, it was really easy to just take my phone out, hit that action button, hit record, and that's it. Although I will say sometimes the Blackmagic camera app did glitch, and it also took some time to figure out a really good setup with an external hard drive sometimes, or connecting a microphone. But after some experimentation, I found a very efficient method that works for me, and I also included how to do that in my Skillshare class. Regardless, there are still definitely things that can use improvements, but thankfully they're updating the apps regularly. The main thing that I found unsatisfactory were images produced in low light situations, especially with the wide angle lens and the telephoto lens. But these days, I've been kind of more lax about image quality in general, so I didn't mind it as much as I thought I would. If I really wanted to get the best shots possible, bringing my Sony camera is necessary for low light situations. For bright outdoor scenes, I'm pretty happy with the iPhone 16 Pro's results. I believe that the cameras on the iPhone 16 Pro aren't that different from the 15 Pro, so if you're interested, it's actually $800 on Amazon, much less than the Sony a7 IV, which is about $1,800 used, and that's just for the camera body by itself. Obviously, you're going to get a much better image quality from a full-frame sensor that's way bigger than an iPhone sensor. But I'd say the optimal situation is to have both. Of course, not everyone can do that, so I highly recommend trying out an iPhone that can use Apple Log. So at the end of the trip and weeks after, for well over 30 days at this point, I've used the iPhone 16 Pro a lot for filming. And although I found myself mostly satisfied with the results, how I'm feeling now is quite unexpected. I found myself realizing that my Sony a7 IV is truly something special, and it makes me appreciate the camera so much more than I did before. And I feel like I need to bring it out some more now. And to be completely honest, the results of the challenge, I do kind of regret not bringing the camera to one specific place in Japan I visited, which is Tottori. Those sand dunes were some of the most epic scenery I've ever seen, and it's now one of my favorite places in Japan. So I'm kind of curious how my Sony a7 IV would have performed there. I will definitely be returning. Still, the iPhone 16 Pro got some pretty nice shots there, so I am happy in the end. But once again, you do kind of have to set up your phone correctly to get the best image quality. And I do cover that in my Skillshare class. I promise you, that's the last time I'll mention it. Link down below. All in all, I'm pretty happy with my purchase of the iPhone 16 Pro, and I'm definitely looking forward to the improvements of smartphone cameras. But I don't think they'll be replacing dedicated cameras anytime soon. But let me know what you guys think down below. What's your experience with smartphone cameras compared to dedicated cameras? Anyways, thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.